Hi, here are two stories from the subreddit relationships. One is about a man trying to make amends before dying. One is about a man who has issues sharing. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Story 1. Am I 25 in the wrong for telling my ex, 26, that dying doesn't excuse his actions? The title sounds bad, but hear me out. I think Ken and I broke up about 5 years ago. We had been together for 2 years. He proposed to me a month before we broke up. There were a lot of red flags that I ignored, but we broke up because I found out he'd been cheating on me for almost a year. When we broke up, he spread a lot of rumors about me, and so did the girl, who to my face was trying to be my best friend. He stalked me for a little while when I was going to work, and he'd ride by my house really slow. It was a huge clusterfuck, and I honestly needed therapy for a while. The first man I ever dated, I was really young, and he was much older than me. It's a long story itself, but I caught him cheating on me as well, and that stuck with me for a while. I guess what made it worse about Ken cheating was that he knew what I'd been through and always told me he'd never do that to me. Anyway, it was all years ago. I really am over it, but it did take a while. I'm married now, I have been for 2 years, and we have a beautiful baby boy together. I'm really happy. I'm in a healthy, happy relationship with a man that treats me wonderfully. We have our own house together, everything is just perfect. A couple days ago, I got a call from a number I didn't recognize. I answered because I always answer phone calls regardless of if I know the number or not. I said hello, he said hello, I asked who it was and he told me. Then I hung up. I didn't know why he was calling and didn't care. I don't have any interest at all in talking to him. Then yesterday I got another phone call from a different number. I almost didn't answer but did anyway. It was a mutual friend of ours that I met through Ken. I had a feeling of what was about to go down, but he begged me to hear Ken out and said I'd understand once I listened. I almost hung up again, but I didn't. This is the conversation. Ken, I know you don't want to hear from me, but I wanted to tell you that I'm sorry for how I treated you in the past. I got a terminal diagnosis and I may have a year or less to live, and I felt the need to make amends for what I did to you. I really didn't know what to say. I was quiet for a bit, but then told him that just because he's possibly dying, that doesn't excuse the crappy treatment he gave. I told him I was over it and moved on a long time ago, but I didn't have much else to say, and hung up. Now his whole freaking family is blowing my phone up telling me I'm a diabolical person who should just grant a dying man his wish, and that it doesn't affect me at all. Even if I'm not the bad person in this story, I'm not surprised they're saying anything to me. They all knew he was cheating on me and were even friends with the girl. When we broke up, they all acted like it was my fault and acted like they didn't know me at all. Which was kind of awkward because we live in a small town and I can't avoid them. I guess I could have indulged him, but I don't think I should clear his conscience just because he might be dying. I don't know if I even believe him in the first place. This all sounds so much worse now that I've typed it all out, but I'll post anyway. So, am I in the wrong? ETA, I've gotten a couple people asking how I didn't know someone was cheating on me for a whole year. He was in it for the long convo, to be honest. We didn't live together and I didn't know his exact work schedule, it varied a lot. Whenever he was with me, he'd change his wallpaper on his phone to a picture of us and change her name in his phone to his godchild's mom's name. When he was with her, he'd change it to a picture of them and change my name instead. He was very private about our relationship on social media and said it was because he didn't want everyone to know our business, and that we'd both be judged because it was an interracial relationship. I didn't think anything of that because everyone in his personal life knew me. Well, almost his entire family and friends that I was also friends with knew her as well and were friends with her, so they hid it for him too. It finally came out when I begged him to let me post a picture of us on Facebook, and she messaged me. He'd told her we broke up a year before, but that we were still friends, supposedly. That's what she told me, but I don't believe her. There's a lot that doesn't add up that I won't get into. After we broke up, she tried to be friends with me and would blow my phone up daily. So I told her to get lost, and she was still the girl my ex cheated on me with, and she started spreading rumors about me as well. Again, clusterfrick. Just a little update. I've blocked about 10 numbers and have 20 plus unread texts, missed calls, voicemails, Facebook messages. The girl he cheated on me with even got in the mix of it and messaged me on Facebook. We aren't friends. It went to the message requests, saying some colorful things. I'm going to change my number tomorrow most likely, and I'll also try changing some Facebook settings to see if I can prevent future messages. Comment 1. He is not entitled to your forgiveness. Amends. Is he naming you beneficiary to his life insurance? Is he offering to call every single person he ever lied to about you and tell the truth? The definition of amends is not a verbally annoying apology. Block him. OP. Enjoy your husband and your babies. The best revenge is living well. Comment 2. You are not wrong. He should have been remorseful long before his diagnosis. You owe him nothing. It's not on you. His actions caused his consequences. Comment 3. Block all of them. It's the kindest thing you can do for them. They are in pain and losing someone they care for. There is nothing you can say to make any of this better, and you're not responsible for making it any better. The kindest thing you can do, and all you owe them now, is respectful silence. It's his job to make peace for himself. Not your job to give him, or anyone else, any peace. Comment 4. Nah dude, not your job to excuse the inexcusable. And that's coming from somebody who has cheated in the past. Yes, I was a snitty person. Genuinely learning from being a horrible person includes understanding that forgiveness isn't earned or owed. It's granted or not. And him sicking his family on you. Just proof positive that you were right to deny him forgiveness, because clearly he learned nothing, and his amends were solely for his own benefit. Block the lot of M. Frick M. If he was genuinely, unselfishly sorry, he'd have taken your response at face value, assured you that you didn't owe him anything, least of all forgiveness, and apologized for interrupting your day. Comment 5. Do not feel bad. My abusive ex got in contact after years, same story. The thing is, he was so abusive and manipulative that my first thought was, he is lying, he just wants to start another spin on me. He never apologized for what he did, he just wanted me to know that he is going to die. These people don't want to make amends, they just want you to release them from feeling guilty. It is 100% about them, you are just a tool for their peace of mind. Story 2. My 27 female boyfriend, 29 male, is possessive of all the food in the house, and I'm not really sure how to deal with it. My boyfriend grew up in not the best financial situation. He was raised by a single mother and was one of 5 kids. I know food and money were tight sometimes, so I want to start by saying I get the reason for some of his issues. Since we have moved in together, I've found out that he's very possessive of all the food in the house. His food is his food, and even though sometimes he says it's okay for me to have some, it seems like he doesn't really feel that way. For example, if we buy a box of cereal, he gets really upset if he is not the one to open it and have the first bowl. But seems to be okay with it if I eat some after it's already open. But he also gets really upset if I have the last bowl. We have already reached the point where we don't go grocery shopping together, we make 2 trips. The unfortunate part is that we don't make a ton of money, so we don't really have enough money to buy 2 of everything, like 2 cartons of milk, 2 loaves of bread, etc. So that he can have his own of everything. Sometimes our essentials overlap. I got yelled at again today because I went to go get some ice cream which I thought was both of ours, but apparently it's just his. I asked him yesterday if I could have some and he said yes, so that's why I thought it was for both of us. But today he said that if he tells me I can have ice cream once, it doesn't mean I can eat all of it. I have suggested therapy for him, but he won't go. Using our financial situation to justify it, we are not struggling, but we don't really have any money for extra stuff after we pay all our bills, since we are both getting less hours due to the ways our jobs have changed because of COVID. I also get the impression that he just doesn't want to go, doesn't like the idea. I'm getting tired of feeling like I'm about to trip a landmine every time I need to go in the kitchen and get something to eat. It's exhausting, and honestly, I've skipped a few meals lately because I just don't want to deal with it. We have been together 3 years, lived together for about 6 months now, and talking about marriage. But as someone who grew up in a family where we made one grocery trip for all of us and shared everything, this has been a hard adjustment. I'm not sure I want to raise kids in a situation where they never know what they can eat in their own kitchen. Would I be a complete jerk if I gave him an ultimatum that he has to go to therapy to sort this out or I'm leaving? I don't want to leave, as I do really love him, and this is really the only issue we've ever had. I don't want to abandon him for an issue he developed from growing up in a bad situation. It's not his fault. I just don't know how much longer I can deal with the food thing. Does anyone have experience with trying to make a relationship work with someone who has these types of issues? Comment 1. You absolutely wouldn't be a jerk if you let him know that you will be leaving if he can't get this under control. The fact that he yells at you and that you skip meals to avoid conflict are both unacceptable. Comment 2. If you aren't happy but want to salvage the relationship, you need to make the issue clear to him and let him decide what he wants to do. I think therapy is a great idea, and it seems like he is trying to keep control over something he had zero control over as a kid. I don't think it's unreasonable for him to have something that's his own cereal or ice cream that nobody else touches but him. But I do think it's unreasonable for him to have everything be his and nothing be shared unless he says so on a daily basis. Comment 3. Sounds like your BF had a lot of food insecurity growing up, as in they were hustling to make sure everyone ate. It sucks. It damages the kid experiencing it who grows to be a damaged adult. Most importantly, it's not your problem. He's way past the point that he should know how to share. You're not his roommate, you're his girlfriend. Lay down your expectations on how people interact about food, and those are your boundaries. Comment 4. A food miser is not father material. I would definitely let him know that children are off the table until he gets his crap together. If you have reached the point of skipping meals, it might best for you to live separately. You don't have to break up with him to do that. Comment 5. I wouldn't suggest coming at it from an ultimatum stance, even if you have that in the back of your mind. But I do think this warrants a very serious conversation to let him know you understand why he does this. But also to make it clear that this is not compatible with your goals as a couple and in the future as a family. It's not reasonable to expect you to ask permission to eat basic food items in your own home. If it was special leftovers or something, I could understand, but this sounds much more extreme than that.